I'm Nicola Mendelsohn, and I'm the president of the IPA. My Twitter thing is @NicolaMen. I always think that kind of sounds quite interesting, because with a bit of men in there, but actually that's my surname, Mendelsohn. It wouldn't all fit in. And I'm actually the first female president of the IPA in its 95-year history. And, you know, quite a lot has been made about that over the last year, but actually I think it speaks more of the inherent conservatism of our industry, and that's probably one of the topics that we're going to come on to a little bit today. I'm not very happy with our industry, if I'm honest, because at the moment the latest research says that only 13% of women hold C-suite positions in our industry, and that figure has pretty much stayed stagnant. It's actually gone down in the last survey, half a percent, but it's pretty much been there for about the last 20 years. So we seem to have got to this new glass ceiling of around 13%. So hopefully there'll be lots of tips today as to why that is the case and how we can smash that ceiling a little bit more. So I think we need my encouragement to the room, and I love the fact, show me the men in the room, I want to see the men. I love you. I literally love you. I mean, how often do you get a bloke brave enough to go, there's a women's event, I want to come along? Do you know, you are going to learn so much in the next few hours. It's going to change your lives, your relationships, everything. It's going to be great. So I think this is an issue, as I have been, and I think all of you should be, much more ambitious about, much more vocal about, and I think we need to make a little bit of mischief about as well if we're going to smash that 13% and move it to be a much higher level, which is where we should be. I thought I'd share one story with you, because being the first president of the IPA, you have to go to lots of different events, and it has struck me the amount of all-male events that I trick into at different various times. And I went to one not so long ago, which was a government-based event for the creative industries, and it was really quite a high-level kind of intimidating meeting. And I got there early, as I always like to do, just, you know, make sure, map out the room, check out what's going on. And there was another lady there as well. There was me and this black lady, and she was like one of the global heads of something for one of the big banks. And we got there early, and we were by the teas and coffees, and we were just having a chat. And this bloke came into the room who was actually meant to be one of our leading progressive thinkers on workplace issues. And I kid you not, he came into the room, looked at the pair of us, and turned around and said, "Oh, am I the first to arrive then?" Honest God, we were so shocked that we just went, tea and coffee. I mean, God knows what he thought, but this was one of the people that's supposed to be the leading lights of enlightenment on diversity and workplace issues. So listen hard, take notes, make sure you resolve to do one thing different as a result of what you pick up today. Network and, you know, enjoy it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We've got an amazing lineup of speakers. And to tell you a little bit more about it, I'm going to hand you over to Gail, the founder of MadWomen, to tell us a little bit more about what's going on today. Please welcome Gail. Thank you.
Hi, it's brilliant to see so many women who are willing to take up the challenge and call themselves a feminist in this male-dominated industry. So women in work is still a really much debated and still controversial topic, never more so in advertising, which some believe is still stuck in the Mad Men era when it comes to attitudes to women. We often see this not just in the workplace, but in the creative output from our agencies that fails to resonate with the women that it's aimed at. It's a blokey boys club culture that's still the norm in creative departments, with the more likely than not male creative director deciding what works gets presented. I've worked in advertising for coming up to 25 years now, and I am a creative. I've enjoyed it for the most part, but I've always been in the extreme minority. And I've often felt an honorary bloke, and I know that I've often acted like one. I then ended up having 4 sons, and I think that maybe that's to do with the testosterone I've absorbed over the years. Even I have 2 dogs, and they're male as well. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, last year, I decided to launch my own agency. So along with my partner, Kate Frierson, we launched MadWomen, which, as far as we know, is the only advertising agency set up and run solely by women. That's not to say that we wouldn't hire blokes, as long as they're the best person for the job. So you only need to look at campaigns to see how few women feature on their pages. Startups are nearly always a set of blokes with an occasional woman popping up. So why aren't more women running agencies? The creative department is an anomaly. In client services, production and planning, and all other areas of our industry, there are women doing amazing jobs. Yet most people at the very top have one thing in common: penises. I just wanted to say penises first thing in the morning. I just thought it would liven everyone up. I've already looked at a guy's crotch this morning, haven't I? Accidentally. Anyway. To discuss why this is and what we can do about it, we have an amazing panel for you. We've got Heather McGregor, who's also known as Mrs. Moneypenny. She worked as an investment banker before running her own executive recruitment company, Taylor Bennett. She's also the author of a brilliant no-nonsense book for women who want to get to the top. It's called Careers Advice for Ambitious Women. And I read it, speed read it, I got it on Kindle, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's really funny and just makes an awful lot of sense. She also writes a weekly Mrs. Moneypenny column for the Financial Times. She's a mother of 3 what she calls cost centres. And Heather admits to putting her career first, her children second, and her husband third. And she likes to quote Madeleine Albright, who said, "There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women." So a message to us all there, so can't wait to hear from her. We've also got Kathleen Saxton, who's CEO of the executive search company she founded, the Lighthouse Company. Kathleen has a background in communications, having worked at Sky TV, Capital Radio, EMAP Advertising, PhD and Saatchi's. Being in daily contact with employers looking for high-level candidates, Kathleen finds most are very much aware they need women at board level and ask her to actively seek them out. The problem is there aren't enough of them, and when they do get to interview, many of them suffer from what Kathleen calls imposter syndrome, the feeling that they're not really good enough to be there and someone will find them out. Kind of a bit like I'm feeling right now, actually. From the client side, we're lucky to have Roisin Donnelly, Corporate Marketing Director and Head of Marketing for Procter & Gamble UK and Ireland. Responsible for marketing on all P&G brands, Roisin is on the board of Cosmetic Executive Women, a Fellow of the Marketing Society, a member of the Marketing Group of Great Britain, President of WACL and a school governor. Phew, how does she do it? Well, apart from the fact she's brilliant, the company she works for is very, very supportive of women in work. But that hasn't always been the way. When Roisin first got pregnant, her boss looked at her and said, "How could you do this to me?" And went on to say, "I never saw you as a mother." So things have obviously changed, and Roisin will tell them about that. Finally, the only man on our panel, the very brave Graham Broadbelt from business-led think tank Tomorrow's Company. As Director of Development, Graham is concerned with researching the reasons why women don't make it past the glass ceiling, if indeed there is a glass ceiling, and that's something very much up for debate today. He points out that while there's parity between men and women at graduate level, by senior management level, the women have disappeared, which is, well, he doesn't have the answers. He's going to give us some of his theories.